What is up, guys? I'm B38 Gaming. Today, I'm going to be talking about It Chapter 2, a movie that I was highly anticipating, and I just saw it a few hours ago, and I loved it. I really loved the first one in 2017. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise was brilliant. He was so scary. I love the horror aspect of the film, the story itself, the main characters, the kids. They're really good actors. Finn Wolfhard, especially, as Richie. Absolutely hilarious. I remember there was a part where he went, what was it? Okay, so he can't really, Pennywise didn't scare him yet, and he's talking to his friends. He says, "Can only virgins see this stuff? Is that why I'm not seeing any of it?" So yeah, that was pretty funny. And basically, in this movie, after they supposedly defeated it in the first one, he came back. After 27 years in Derry, Maine, he's finally back feasting on kids. And they all have to gather up again, and they have to perform this ritual called the Ritual of Chud. No, this is a real thing, and it is in the novel, so it's not something that Warner Brothers just pulled out of their ass the last second. This is real. And they have to gather an item that basically was essential to what made them who they were, what formed their childhood, and that was kind of sad. That was actually really cool. Cool. They have to sacrifice those items, they have to perform this ritual, but it fails, and then, turns out, what they really need to do was to conquer their fears. They stand up to Pennywise, they're no longer afraid of him, and they finally defeat him once and for all. That's pretty much the entirety of the plot. So, I love this movie. Once again, there are really good jump scares in this movie, especially from Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård is a shining example of pure brilliance. He was in another movie that I liked, Deadpool 2. Try to guess who he is. So the scene opens up with a carnival. It takes place in 2017, I think, or 2016. Well, in our modern day world. And he eats this, and he eats this person, as, you know, Pennywise does. And Mike, the black kid, he is the only one who senses it. He knows something's wrong. And then he calls all his friends up. They all have different lives. They're adults now. And they all gather up at this Chinese restaurant. They talk about the good old times. And I really like that aspect. What the movie does well is show you their friendship. It's really endearing. You get a sense of their friendship very well. And you feel bad that they had to be separated. And then, you know, there's some creepy, horrifying stuff in the Chinese restaurant and such. But, like, when it comes to the jump scares, a lot of them do work, especially from Pennywise himself. But there's a problem with that. Pennywise is shown too often. In the first film, yeah, they showed Pennywise, but they rarely do that. Like, he's kept hidden throughout most of that movie, so it can build up suspense. Here, he just shows up so many times, to the point where he's not even scary anymore. This movie, like, it's not as scary as the first one. After a while, you get used to the jump scares. Like, what's the jump scare gonna happen? It's gonna happen right here. And you're right, it does happen right there. So that was kind of disappointing in the movie. But overall, the movie is still pretty good. You can watch it. The horror, like, it's dialed down a bit because they do it so frequently that you're not even surprised by it. That's actually a problem I had with Hobbs and Shaw. Like, they had so many action sequences, you're just expecting another one right away. That's kind of the same problem with this movie. But still, some of the jump scares and some of the horror aspects do still work. You can still get scared. I remember at one point in the movie, I literally jumped up in my seat. No, literally, I jumped so high, I think a person was like, "Dude, you okay?" I was so embarrassed. Oh, God. And so, yeah, in the beginning, they all gather up, and a lot of them don't want to do this. They don't want to have to confront Pennywise again, and for good reason. He almost killed them. And he killed Stanley, the Jewish kid in the first movie. Yeah. And another person dies in this movie. I'll reveal that soon. And when we get to the middle of the movie, they have to gather all their items. There is a major problem with that. So, basically, one person, they find this item, and Pennywise jump scares them. I'm like, okay, fine. But then it goes to each different character, and it does that. Like, okay. It's like, okay, who's the next person? Oh, it's going to be Dave. Who's the next person? Oh, it's going to be Richie. Oh, who's the next person? It's going to be Bethany or Beverly. It does that over and over and over again. And the sad thing is, you really don't need to see it. It doesn't. You can just assume that they got it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that feels like it could have been cut out, and that makes the movie feel too long. It makes the movie feel like it could have been way shorter, and you can feel it. I felt like, wait, is this still going on? Like, wait, why did they need to show us this? Like, if they showed it to one, like, I feel like the only person they really needed to show it to was Bill. You know, he goes to the drain where Georgie was taken from Pennywise, where he gets the boat. And okay, he was an essential character in the last movie, and I thought, okay, that made sense. And that was pretty much it. I really did not think that they needed to like do the same thing over and over again. Like, really, it gets really repetitive, like showing from one character to another, one character to another, one character to another, and it just, well, you get the idea. And also the bully returns. You know, the one who was instructed by Pennywise to kill them all. He killed his dad with a knife. And yeah, he comes back. That's exactly how it is in the novel. He's in a mental institute. And once again, he gets instructed by Pennywise. Well, actually, one of his old buddies, who was a bully in the last movie, comes back. And basically, Pennywise sent him so that he can kill the kids of the Losers Club. And I felt like that didn't need to happen. Like, nothing really major happened. If you take him out completely, it will not change a thing. But that's just with the middle act. The ending is really good. Dave dies, the kid that is afraid of germs, and that sees, like, the leper, or, like, the man with the really gross face. Yeah, he comes back, and Dave dies. And it was really upsetting. I remember they go to this familiar spot. Remember in the first movie where they had to jump into this pool? They jumped off a cliff into this lake. They talk about how, you know, he would have made them laugh and such. It was really sad. And the fight between them and Pennywise, it was really good. I liked it. And the final solution, as I said, was basically the message saying, if you can only control your fears. You can either you let it control you or you stand up to it. In this case, stand up to Pennywise. And I thought that was really good. Plus, this movie has some really good cinematography and direction. I remember a lot of the shots, they're so good. The angles at which they're filmed during the last battle, I really enjoyed. It was really interesting. And once again, you know, there's a bunch of jump scares and cool little gimmicks. I like that as well. But again, like, it got to the point where it wasn't even scary and such. And like, Bill Skarsgård, like Pennywise, he just turns into this big CGI like, if you combined Pennywise with a spider, like basically just give Pennywise spider legs, that's what you'll see. And, you know, it was, although I did enjoy it, it kind of, a little bit, I felt annoyed that that's what they did. It was just like a CGI monster fight. I don't know. So that's pretty much it. And so I did enjoy this movie for the most part, but the problems were a little bit too obvious. Now, that's not to say this is a bad movie. It's still a good movie, just not as good as the first. That's how I would simply put it. I'd recommend to see it just for the performances. The adults, they're really good playing. They're really good. You really believe that these were the kids that we saw in the last movie, especially James McAvoy as Bill. I mean, what can you expect? He played young Professor X. You know he's good. So, yeah, everyone pretty much did great. And, you know, you see the young kids again in flashbacks and all that. And there was some CGI work that was done to make the kids look younger, because, you know, they got older over the course of 2 years. Especially Finn Wolfhard. It was kind of distracting because at some points his eyes were so big. It reminded me of Alita Battle Angel. You know, her eyes were so big and such. It was kind of distracting, but so overall, I would still recommend seeing this movie. Do not expect it to be better than the first. It's not going to be better, but you're still going to have a good time watching it. I would give this film a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, guys. What did you think of this review? Did you see the movie? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, subscribe if you're new, and click that bell so you don't miss anything new, and that's the end of the video.